Thank you, Jerry. It was wonderful. Today's our first keynote speaker is Minister Seán Fleming, Minister of State at the Department of Finance. He was appointed to the role in July 2020. Mr. Fleming was elected to represent the Leash Offaly constituency at the 2020 general elections.
Thank you very much indeed, Prashant, for the kind invitation to be here today. We met last year and it was very interesting and I found it very informative. And I also want to say hello to my fellow county man, your co-chairman, Damien Lee, as well. So I will say I enjoyed the music, Jerry. I don't know you're hearing us, but we heard you. And I felt like I was lining out on the parade in Portlaoise, getting ready for some of the dancing schools to come up the street. So it got us in the spirit of Patrick's Day and the Patrick's Day parades that we're normally accustomed to. But unfortunately, we are where we are, and we know that can't possibly happen today. Hopefully next year, we'll all be back in full flight, and the virtual meetings will be looking back. You remember all those virtual meetings we had last year? Isn't it great to be back to a normal level of activity? So I think we all want to get into that space. I will say, I'm looking at your agenda here today, opportunities in the pharmaceutical, medical devices, manufacturing sector, trade business, facilities and tourism. So the focus of your conference is very practical and focused on the nuts and bolts of doing business between India and Ireland. But I think it would be very useful to begin by stepping back a little bit from those details and look at the big picture and to remind ourselves, if you will, of the context that we operate in.
Thank you, Minister Seán Fleming. And I didn't expect such a long introduction. I don't mean to be like that. And very simply, I'm a Girish Krishnamurthy. I'm employee of Tata Group and trying to work hard on healthcare. That's probably my better way of presenting myself. And good morning and happy St.Patricksday for each one of you.
Good morning.
And I quickly want to take next 10-15 minutes of time and try to elaborate and provide some details of some of our success and some of the model in healthcare and pre-COVID and during COVID and post-COVID, how healthcare can really be a very good platform and a method to work between Ireland and India. So just taking healthcare into a thought process, all of us know worldwide healthcare is necessary. At the same time, it has been one of the biggest challenges for the world to address. because healthcare is not a simple industry or is not a sector. It has a connotation of social impact, economic impact, and also major livelihood impact. And so looking at, in a high level, if you look at the current healthcare in the world, the left side, there are 4 fundamental causes which making the existing healthcare, whether it is be it United States or any of the European Union countries or developing nations or even in India, there are 4 major fundamental issues. And one is the current healthcare which were conceived, which is episodic in nature. Somebody falls sick and he has to be treated. There's a second aspect of healthcare, which is also, we all know, it is extremely disjointed care, while worldwide we have been attempting to bring in EMR and bringing facilities together, interactions together, but it has always been a disjointed care. The third aspect, if you look at it, the current healthcare model developed with the thinking that care only in the hospital. And that is, if you take all the 3 together, and whenever we talk about healthcare, any improvement in healthcare, we talk about it, there is an important question which we need to answer: who is going to pay for it? As soon as it comes in, the purpose of healthcare changes.
What we're trying to do is make the messages very simple, very compelling, and let's just say that we have an expression that a picture is 1,000 words. So this picture, which looks like a graph with a hockey stick at the end of it, shows the human population. And why did the human population basically grow exponentially? Because of the Industrial Revolution. Very simple. We want people to understand that. We also want people to understand that the increased population of the planet is wonderful. And as we head for 10 billion people in 2050, the rate of extinction is basically of species is growing in that exact same trend. And that increased population and overconsumption equals mass extinction.
As the chairman mentioned there, the connection with Menlo Park, where we ended up being sister cities, began on the basis of actual historical communications, okay, or historical links, and we built those as kind of a basis for business. So a couple of brief points that I would make for people between India and Ireland is the business benefit of cultural connections. You know, when I went to Menlo Park, I discovered that 100 years previously, Menlo Park in Silicon Valley got its name from a place in Galway City. There was that connection between people. And similarly, there's a lot of connections between India and Ireland that I'm only discovering. It's quite possible that the minister knew this a long time ago, but De Valera went to India in 1940 thereabouts or whatever. I never knew that. I sat in school beside the son of De Valera's biographer, and Damien knows who we're talking about, a famous professor in Galway. It never came up that De Valera went to India, but the connections with our constitutions, just remarkable stuff. And if we understand each other's history, learn more, the more I've been involved with the India-Ireland Council, the more I've learned about people and connections.
I suppose Meath, really what I want to talk to you about this morning and what we've been trying to do over the past, I suppose, 7 years is highlight Meath as a place in which to do business. We're very much connected. Obviously, accessibility is very much an issue for any business setting up. We have a highly skilled workforce, not just in the county, but in the greater region, obviously, that we're in. The fact that we are a close proximity to Dublin and being part of the greater Dublin region, as it is known. We've quite a lot of space, both the built environment and obviously space in which you can come either to set up business or relocate. And as a local authority, we, I suppose, pride ourselves in having a very connected approach in how we meet businesses. But I suppose one of our key assets would be, as because of us being on the east coast of Ireland, we have direct access to Ireland's largest airport, to the ports. We've also got an excellent infrastructure of high motorways, and we're very much aware, I suppose, that for business, you either accessing the country, getting your products out is very much an issue.
So that's really what sets us apart from others. If I can talk then about the type of hotels that we are looking at and looking currently and will be sourcing for our investor clients. As I've said, and a key important part here is that hotels will have dropped in value by 20 to 30%. And this is certainly what we're looking to do and bring forward. So anything we bring forward will be at 20 to 30% reduced off pre-COVID values. The hotels will typically be 4-star. They will be larger than 70 bedrooms. They will have a very good range of facilities, good quality bedrooms, extensive ground floor food and beverage operations. We will have a good range. They will have a good range of meeting events and banqueting facilities, and perhaps some leisure. We will be very much deal led, so we will look at opportunities throughout the 32 counties of Ireland. However, we do believe that a lot of the opportunities will come in the Midlands and east of the country.
Family holiday in the wilderness. This is next to the sand dunes. We get you camel rides. You do star trailing. Look at this beautiful photograph. People can do astrophotography with us because people, as astrophotographers, they have to be away from the city. And when you are in the winter or in the cold weather in Ladakh, then you need some kind of support. You need some kitchen which can give you hot coffee, hot snacks or food and loo, and a lot of battery charging needed. So we do that. And also we take people to such places where other tourists don't go. These are the caves right bang on the road in Himalayas, in the Himalayas in Ladakh, but tour operators don't take them there. But we, because we don't have to worry where you're going to spend the night, so you get to see such places.
Thank you, Prashant. I won't keep you long. You've had all sorts of interesting things, and the primary purpose of today, I suppose, is to engage and create common visions. And the one thing that the world needs, to be successful and to be ensure that it's there in 100 years' time, as we would like it to be, is to identify the trends and the things that are happening and to sort of slightly engineer those in the way that will benefit mankind the best. And as a kid, my favorite philosopher was a guy called Marshall McLuhan, who had a vision of a global village, how something happening in one corner would influence another. And the coronavirus has really brought that into perspective, that something small that happened in a little jungle where guys were fiddling with pendulums has impacted every corner, every parish, every townland in the world.